Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, all of those good things. We're still trying to get to 18,600 by next Wednesday. Also, hype the video if you can. You know, apparently YouTube says that does something, so whatever help we can get, we gonna grift. Anyway, speaking of grifting, we got to get back to grifting, okay? Ghost of Yotei, and I have the wrong screen up here. I'm sorry about that. So anyway, Ghost of Yotei has released and people are playing it, and now it's still mired in controversy. So I need people to understand. We got to talk about the sales, and we also got to talk about the fact that a lot of, for some odd reason, a lot of journalists or games pundits are complaining. I'm getting bored of every last PlayStation game telling the same story. Well, goddamn. Well, that's different. Now, I must say, I have not played all of the PlayStation games. Sorry. God of War, of course. Okay. Ghost of Tsushima, of course. Okay. Horizon. I tried with Horizon Zero Dawn. I really did. I did. I just couldn't. I couldn't finish it. It's just one of those games that I couldn't finish. I'm a huge fan of PlayStation's first-party offerings. They've come to embody the sort of cinematic adventures I've always looked for when sitting down with a controller in my hand, feeling like genuine blockbuster events meant to be savored. But where in the past this brand of glossy storytelling felt like new ground being trodden, I can't help but feel that recently it's become the well-worn road. If this has anything to do with straight mail or something of that sort, I'm going to lose my everlasting mind. It's not just that all the PlayStation major releases adhere to the now trademark third-person cinematic storytellings. The stable of developers has become seemingly obsessed with stories that explore the exact same themes: grief and revenge. And I'm starting to get tired of it. As a rule, these games are impeccably well made, but I'm starting to get starting to miss the era when PlayStation's range felt wider and things were a little bit more fun. Nigga, go play a Nintendo game. Like, what are we talking? What are we doing? How you gonna get mad because they make, listen, if you needed any other reason to stop reading these niggas, please stop reading these niggas. But whatever. We gonna get back to the goddamn sales, okay? Apparently, okay, Ghost of Yotei has sold 1 million copies. Now, there's a big debate online whether or not it actually sold 1 million copies, whether or not 1 million copies is enough. You know what I've told you. If this game has a similar budget to the first one, which was reportedly $60 million. If this game is somewhere around that front, I predict anywhere between 70 to $90 million. I'm sorry, if they sell 1 million copies, they good. If they sell 1 million copies, they break even. If they sell 2 million copies, they've already won. I'm sorry. Like, I know we like to grift, but it is what it is. You got Andy Pants here. By the way, I don't subscribe to anything Andy Pants does. I just want to throw that out there. I think he's a goofball, along with Yorch Torch and John Della Backhole. I don't rock with any of these dudes. But Andy Pants says, "Yikes! Is Yotei a flop? Monster Hunter World sold 8 million during this time." Now you got this guy King Gamer here, who says, I think his name is, I don't know what this nigga's name is. But anyway, this is why you shouldn't listen to these anti-woke non-gamers. According to him, every game in 2025, apart from Monster Hunter Wilds, is a flop. He is so delusional. It even stats Monster Hunter Wild sales are in 3 days, and Ghost of Yotei hasn't even been released for 3 days yet. So there's context to be thrown out here, right? First of all, Monster Hunter Wilds is probably a bigger global game than Ghost of Tsushima. However, the Ghost of Tsushima game was so successful that I think it would be reasonable to expect that the follow-up to it could do similar numbers to Monster Hunter. Remember, Monster Hunter only got big in 2018 after Monster Hunter World came out. Ghost of Tsushima was big from the start. I would argue that I would say that maybe Ghost of Tsushima might have been bigger in the West than Monster Hunter. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. Y'all could double check me on that. But 1 million copies sold. What Ghost of Yotei released on what? Today's Saturday. What, it released on Thursday? Something like that. I mean, 1 million is still good. What is it going to do in the week? Again, I'm not here to grift. I mean, I am here to grift, but I'm not going to grift. But I'm grifting. The game is, I told you I was going to sell fine, even if it doesn't meet your expectations. I would say the first one sold, I believe the first game sold about 4.4 million in the first week. And I said, I believe that if the game didn't make, I mean, come on, it's the sequel. So you got it. I think it might have been 4 million. So 4 million in the first week. Sequel, you got to do 8 million in the first week, right? I don't know, we ain't going to say double. Maybe 6 million in the first week. I mean, it's the follow-up. So, I mean, I don't know what it is right now. Hypnotic has a take. I haven't seen this yet, so I want to go over this really quick. So, Hypnotic says, so the PR storm is out in full effect for Ghost of Yotei. I'm honestly shocked it's happening so fast, but the level of nonsense we're seeing is through the roof. This is the article that is currently being thrown around right now, trying to quickly shift the narrative of Yotei in its favor as soon as possible. They claim the game has sold over 1 million copies, conveniently just barely passing Tsushima's original number on day one. In this article, they claim Yotei is loved more than Tsushima and that community sentiment is strong. We're going to ignore that because we know these niggas be lying. Who is the source for this information? A random tweet from an account with less than 10,000 followers? What is the account source? Well, quite clearly, it's Trust Me, Bro. You have accounts already spamming X sourcing this one article has a massive win for Yotei. As expected, these accounts do the same thing with every controversial game, and yet 95% of the games they do this for end up failing, resulting in layoffs or even worse, studio closures. But hey, as long as you get to have the perception of dunking on the Chuds, I guess that's all that matters. Ghost of Yotei was always going to survive off the back of Tsushima and sell copies. I am extremely curious to see how this game performs in Japan personally, as Tsushima set records in Japan for a Western game, or even just games in general. This game will obviously sell over 1 million copies pretty early on, but to claim it this soon and use this level of sourcing just shows that it hasn't happened yet, but they want everyone to believe it has, because this game's message means more to them than anything else. Fake it till you make it. So here it is. Ghost of Yotei has reportedly sold over 1 million copies, selling faster than Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima had sold over 13 million copies, which is a decent number for an exclusive title. But in that time frame, it also released on PC. The general response towards Yotei is more positive, hinting at good things to come. Oh. Hearing 1.3 million sold on the first day for Yotei, ever so slightly ahead of Tsushima's first 24 hours. Tsushima kept pace on its second day with another 1.15 million sold. Can Yotei keep up? Well, here's the thing. You know, I'm going to say, at least they're saying units sold. At least they're saying copies sold. They're not saying how many players it is, like a certain game made by Ubisoft. But what I will say is that, listen, if I make a sequel to something, I expect for it to be doing a lot better. Or am I tripping on that? Am I tripping? If I make, Attack of the Monkeys 1 and, with less resources, and it sells 2 million copies in the first week, when I make Attack of the Monkeys 2, I expected Attack of the Monkeys to at least hit 2 million, because we built up hype. We've got a better reputation now. People know what we bring into the table. We just improving it. If it's not doing significantly better, what are we even doing? Now, of course, for the developers, it's like, yeah, we're just telling the next chapter of the story, so they don't really care as long as people play their game. But I'm sorry, numbers are a part of it. You don't put out a sequel expecting the same people who played it the first time to play the second time. You put out a sequel because you want more people to experience it. What you're hoping is when the sequel comes out, more people go back and play the first one, and then that builds even more hype, and then that more people come out and buy the second one. So if I sold 2 million copies the first time, I expect to sell 4 million copies the second time. So that's where you're going to have to decide on, what do you believe in? Do you believe the media? Do you believe the Chuds? Do you believe the developers? When it comes to whether or not this game was a success. Ultimately, to me, in my eyes, it doesn't really matter, because if the budget is about the same, they're going to make their money back. They're going to be good. But was it considered a resounding success, right? If Ghost of Tsushima sold 13 million copies in its lifespan, in my personal opinion, if Ghost of Yotei doesn't sell 21, 22 million copies, it's a flop. It's a flop. Okay? But that's just my opinion, though. I can't really base that off. I don't know what the studio is expecting. The studio may be saying, hey, listen, if we get 15 million copies, it's a success. How am I going to define success for the studio? I'm just going on what I think I know about business and what I understand. If I make a sequel, I expect it to do resoundingly better than the first. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. As always, may the grip be with you. I'll talk to y'all later.
Oh, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.